Welcome back to the Victory Lap Show. Yours truly, Chad Fairey.
Tyler Corbitt.
Ryan Ammons.
Today's special guest. Hopefully you can live up to Jackson's high bar that he set.
I know you're going through the whole roommates.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, really.
Benny boy, you're next.
Yeah.
He's been refusing to do it. He will not do it.
We'll get him on here.
Yeah, it's going to pull some strings.
Yeah.
See what we got to help us out with that.
We'll do.
But yeah, so got you on today. Good opportunity to talk about a lot of different things. We're officially all finished up with fall ball and Omaha Challenge and all that stuff, which was eventful nonetheless. I'd say it's something we kind of reviewed last time.
Were we finished with it when we did the last show?
No, I don't think so.
I think we were going to do
The Friday
competition.
You want to give us a rundown on Friday?
Yeah, so basically we did like a obstacle course at the dikes and kind of like matched up with every team on our schedule. And as the season went on, or the obstacle course went on, it got harder and harder and harder till the end. Just constantly running up and down the dike and then adding on push-ups, shoulder taps, different stuff like that. In the end, we got to, when everyone individually finished, she raised up the trophy to go to Omaha. It was super cool, good experience. Thought it was going to be a lot tougher than it was, if we want to be completely honest, but still very challenging.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah. So I would have to agree. But the thing, I like the way it was set up, though.
It was set up well.
The way it was set up was pretty cool in itself, but also after a long week of workouts.
And we worked out before too. We did a leg workout. We squats for on time, I think.
We did, yeah. So that beforehand made it a little bit more challenging, but overall it's still a very good, interesting event. To be able to put all that together and the minds behind that, to lay it out the way they did, was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Rick and them did a really good job of finding a way to make it tough to the point where it pushed you, but at the same time it was also enjoyable to do.
Yeah.
I thought.
And EB did it before we all did it.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting in the lounge in the
lair.
In the lair. And we look up and EB's walking through, kind of out of breath, kind of dead look in his eyes. And Bailey comes over and tells us he just did it and says it's kind of a beast, but it really wasn't that bad.
No, I didn't think it was bad. It was just more one of those things like once you got going, like you felt drained about halfway through, and then it's just like you just keep pushing and you're fine. I think the thing that got me was the squats.
Yeah.
The Viper squats we had to do at the top, those got me.
I mean, it's the burpees always for me. The burpees just kill you.
I think the filthy 40 was worse than the obstacle course. Those 40 push-ups got me. It was so tough.
Yeah.
I had shoulders tightened up for like. I still want to do push-ups like yesterday. I couldn't even get like 7 or 8 without having to reset. And I was like, dang, my shoulders are still sore.
I wonder if Hoffy's shoulders have recovered yet.
Hoffy, if you're out there, keep pushing, man. You got it.
just keep on going.
Yeah, no, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, and it kind of it was up to you how bad you were gonna feel, because you could go full force like 100% like Riley did,
right?
And he kind of wore himself out before then, and it was about your pace.
It was kind of hard though. Riley's the first one to go, so it's like
so
kind of hard to like
he was shut out of the can.
He was going for the PR. He was going to take us to Omaha, but he did the barrel roll down the hill trying to speed him up. It was awesome.
That was awesome. The thing that I thought was really cool is Coach Backish finished in what, 12:30?
12 with some change, yeah.
Yeah, 12 with some change, and most guys were able to finish around 10.
Yeah, we did a really good job.
Our whole team was in the 9s, and then a couple of us were like early 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was early 10 minutes, and I was very happy with my results. I was just at that point, I was like, I can live with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We're going into exam week. We have weights this week, and then next week's completely optional for a lot of guys, and a lot of guys will end up going home, I guess, probably Wednesday next week. Sometime that's usually about the time. So it's about a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks home, and then January 2nd, most of us will be right back to it.
Yep.
So for a little spring training. get together soon.
I wouldn't really call this little time exam week for us. Jeez.
Yeah, it's just kind of more or less the same as what we're doing all semester. So yeah. Exam week for the rest of the guys.
Yeah. The rest of the guys are stressing out. We're just kind of doing our things.
Same old same.
Are you doing just the internship or do you have?
No, so I finished doing an internship. I finished yesterday, and then I got 2 exams, but they're both online, so I don't really have that hard of an exam schedule. I could kind of go home whenever, but yeah, I got pretty lucky with it.
Yeah, not that you live that far down the road either.
No, it's that tough 123 easily area. It's about, if you get traffic, it's 25 minutes. So, so it's pretty tough, but no.
Well, let's talk about your internship. What did you have to do? You worked for Bert.
So yeah, shout out to Bert. I worked with Bert all semester, 400-hour internship for my major. To graduate, you have to find something that you would see yourself doing. And I always knew I wanted to work in athletics after baseball was over. So I got into the athletic department and asked and got hooked up with Bert. Kind of went worked the football games, every home football game. Worked some baseball events, the alumni thing and all that, super fun stuff. And then at the end, we got to do the Batgirl tryouts, me and Nick Clayton, another guy on the team. That was super cool to kind of be a part of that. Now, when the spring comes around, probably won't have much say-so and who gets hired or anything but like that, because I won't be there.
I'm pretty sure they've already been hired.
That's the inside scoop. I ain't got that one yet. Oh, man. But got to be a part of that. That was super cool. And then that was kind of basically it. We got to do those 3 things. Every week we had a home game. That was kind of the whole week of work, was getting ready for the football game. But super cool.
How were the football games? I feel like you kind of drew the short stick on that one.
Yeah, the senior year, missing home football games was super, super tough. But you got fed, like you're a recruit. You get the lunch and then you get the halftime snack. So you can't beat free food, but definitely we were done working at halftime. So if we wanted to go watch the second half of the game with the boys, then we could. But yeah, definitely kind of that did suck.
Yeah.
But sucked at the same time. But it was fine. Definitely missed out on some memories with the boys though.
Well, yeah, I know it's tough too because your family tailgates and all that stuff right outside of the. So I mean, it's just one of those things where.
Yeah, it was
just unfortunate.
It was super tough for my parents this year. I think it was worse for them than it was for me because they love seeing everybody come by the tailgate and always having a big old tailgate for everybody to come hang out. And when I wasn't really going to the games, the boys kind of didn't go and kind of made them upset. But we made up for it with the South Carolina game because everybody got to come by and say what's up, and it was my mom and dad were very happy about that. So
yeah, it's fun. Yeah. So one of the things we always ask, just give a general basis on you as a person and why you're here right now, is why you chose Clemson.
So going back to the old family tree, mom went to Clemson, dad went to Clemson, brother went to Clemson, aunts, uncles, cousins, about 10 alumni in my immediate family. So it was always a school that I grew up coming to for football, baseball. Just was my favorite team growing up, 20 minutes down the road. It was pretty easy to make that decision when Clemson pulled the offer and decided to give me a chance to come play here. So, I mean, it's a beautiful place. Everybody knows everybody. Hometown kid. I thought it was a cool experience to come do it and still get a diploma from the same school as my family. So that was super cool.
Yeah. That's kind of what Jackson was saying. My whole thing too. There's a lot of guys who are here kind of have that same tie to it. So it's cool to see that.
And everybody, like you said, Jackson Lindley, I knew coming here to play. I knew Jackson. I knew James Parker. I knew
it's
Reagan
like
Reed.
a travel ball.
It's like putting all like the guys you played with in South Carolina and you throw them at a school together.
Yeah.
So everybody knows everybody before you even get here. Maybe not the brotherhood that you would have, but you still have a tie to someone kind of to some extent. But yeah.
Like we all played each other in high school. We
Right.
all it's just like that was one of the big reasons why I chose this because I mean I came in knowing over half the team already.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like a comfort thing. But all right. So the next question: your favorite place to eat?
So recently, every Monday I've been going to Tokyo. I feel like that's kind of a Clemson spot.
Yeah.
But like you can't beat Tokyo. Lunch deal, $9 for hibachi chicken and rice. You can't beat
Tokyo
it.
the other day for the first time.
Really, what you think about it?
Wasn't impressed.
Really, you like Osaka better?
I like Red Bull better.
Okay, yeah, but Red Bull's kind of like chain place. Tokyo's not.
Okay, all right. So that either way, that wasn't part of it. We want downtown or Clemson.
We have to start setting parameters. On
Yeah,
this
we do.
question.
It's got to. Yeah, it's like
It is.
See, I watched the interview with Jackson, and Jackson threw something like that out too, and I was like,
we yelled at him.
yeah, and I felt like that was a pretty Clemson answer if you ask me. But yeah, I'll give you something else. Loose change cheeseburger. You can't be a loose change cheeseburger.
That's a pretty good answer. Yeah.
But if you were new to Clemson, the first place you wanted to go to, it has to be SO Club.
Yeah.
You have to go to the SO Club if you come in for a weekend and come watch the Tigers play.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the spring, when you guys are piling in to watch us play Doug Kingsmore, you guys have to stop by SO Club. Pretty much what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. SO's good. I like SO. Meat and 3. Solid.
Chicken tender Thursdays.
No,
50-cent tenders.
I forgot about that. Dang, that was a big thing last year.
That was the big thing. The whole crew went on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And we would tear some chicken.
Do they still have it?
Yeah, they still got it. I don't know why we haven't gone.
Let's go tonight.
Let's go. After this, we're going to meet us at SO.
I'm fine with it.
Jeez, yeah, I can't believe we got away from that tradition. Honestly.
But they trick you with the fries. The fries get expensive on chicken tender Thursday. It's like you can get 10 chicken fingers for about 50 cents a piece, but then it's like $4 for French fries. So you end up paying the same price, but it's just the feeling of the 50 cents.
You feel like
you're stealing from them, you know?
getting one way or another, and then fries, and
Then you get the sweet tea, and then it's back to what it would be anyway.
$12.
Yeah.
but it's just a fact. 50 cents.
You're stealing from them.
Yeah, I mean at that point, why not?
I went and got my weekly Backstreets meal on last night.
I might go to Backstreet's tonight.
We just said ESO.
I know, but
It's burger night.
Burger night.
at Backstreets.
Burger night, Backstreets, or Tinder's night at SO. The decisions we have to make are so tough.
Yeah, I tell you what, man.
College, dang.
That's funny. But another thing, I guess, kind of going off that, I say college, even Backstreets, Corbitt and I both have NIL deals to them and whatnot. But speaking of NIL, it's like a huge thing that we're starting to see now across the landscape of college athletics. You got schools like Tennessee, Alabama, Ohio State that are just running away with it in terms of funding, allocation. They were already kind of like a step ahead whenever all this went into play. The schools like Michigan was a big one that's decided to kind of take a back seat to it.
Yeah.
But love it or hate it, it's here to stay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere.
No.
I think it's been super huge in kind of helping the older guys on our team kind of all stay together, and we were very fortunate to get fortunate enough to have NIL come hit us when it did. But we're super blessed with Tiger Impact and Gerald Clemson. They've helped us out a lot, and they're for right causes too. Like giving back to the community is super big for. It's just a Clemson way, kind of like we always talk about doing things the Clemson way. Being able to benefit as well as help someone out, I think has been super huge for doing it the right way. And it'd be super easy to go pay someone $10,000 to go sign or do something that maybe doesn't have as big as benefit to a university.
Which is what a lot of schools are doing.
Which is what a lot of schools are doing, but I think the way Clemson has handled it and how everyone else is doing it are kind of different, and it makes Clemson special in that way, I think.
Yeah, and I think that what we do is a lot to do with EB and his mindset and his views on it. I know football and basketball kind of does their own thing, but that's just football and basketball is in a whole other world than baseball now.
Yeah.
I mean, not the baseball. I mean, a lot of schools baseball's got crazy NILs too, but football and basketball, they're making 6 figures. Some of them 7. So I mean, like, I know like one came out yesterday where Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee got a deal with Hyatt Hotels.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just that caliber of like a brand is insane to me.
And that's another, even the hooker, their quarterback, Tennessee's quarterback, he has a deal with Mercedes-Benz in Knoxville.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, and you get that, not to say that, Tennessee's necessarily like a huge market, but having those things around really helps bring that in. Where somewhere like Clemson, we have places like that, but it's more like Greenville, Charlotte, Columbia, kind of more spread out. So the things we get at Clemson are more for opportunities that we, get to go out, like you were saying, in the community, help out through Tiger Impact and stuff like that. So the money that's received by guys who get those NIL deals, it's not just, here you go, you're an athlete.
And I think down the road, though, the teams that are going to be the most successful in Clemson baseball, or not Clemson baseball, but college baseball, are the people who can pay for people to come to school there. Not having to have to pay for school. Because at the end of the day, whoever can give the most scholarships and NIL money, I feel like is going to be the front runner for where you would go to school. Yeah. And I think EB's trying to do that here, is trying to provide people for not having to pay for school and not paying for housing. And I think that's some big steps that we're going to take as a program, take us to the next stage where it's an even playing ground for everybody up at the top.
Yeah. And that's the end goal for EB, to make it a debt-free experience for a Clemson baseball player.
And
which is how it should be.
Yeah, 100%. It's just remarkable the way he's even handled it, especially coming from somewhere like Michigan,
which has zero tolerance,
we're not
motivation.
Yeah, exactly. So for him to come down and put as much effort into these kind of things as he has is pretty cool. So, but yeah, it's just like this whole thing with NIL. You see these guys, like I saw a thing the other day where Alabama, I can't remember if it was Bryce Young or somebody has made like $3-something million.
Yeah,
crazy. On that. So there's crazy potential for that kind of stuff, but you almost have to be in a market that allows for it to be that big.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the market value and potential they see in guys.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
I'll say, with us, the way Daryl Clemson has it, the way they allocate and do everything through NIL, they do it the right way. Mm-hmm. Really, it's not just a handout like you see a lot of guys getting. It's kind of something that gives you a little pride with what you're doing. Yeah. It makes you feel a little bit better about what you're getting. So, the donations, endowments, whatever it is that we get, it's not just free money for athletes. Right. You got to earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like Blake Wright works with like a Miracle League. Mm-hmm. Ben works with I think it's a children's hospital. He loves that. Mm-hmm. It means a lot to him. So guys are doing things they enjoy and things that matter. So I think it's going well. I think it's paying off.
100%. No, it's weird how everybody was so skeptical July 1st when that all hit at once. Everybody's like, well, what do we do?
Yeah. Right.
Another thing I think is cool is Graham Neff, our athletic director, is 100% on board with it.
Right.
Trying to get.
As he should be.
Yes, 100%.
Which it was pretty cool to see during the last couple football home games, the video that he came out with saying to help us out and to donate and everything counts towards a greater good for Clemson. And it's not just one sport, it's divided up into all sports. So giving everybody a fair chance in their own sport is something that's been super cool to see.
One thing I think the NIL does change a lot of things, but Clemson in general, baseball has been a very successful program over the years. Football, obviously, successful program. Softball, even now, heck, as young as they are, what they've been able to put together. Basketball, good program. And in order to keep that longevity with NIL coming, that's something we have to really tap into as a school.
It's necessary. Yeah, it's yeah. Talking about the college landscape. Let's talk about transfer portal.
That's another thing too. Yeah.
That's huge right now.
Yeah. Golly. What was it? 1,000 athletes
Over 1,000. I hope everyone who entered the portal has a chance to go somewhere to play, but those guys who are kind of haven't really had an established college career, I feel like it'd be pretty hard to be enough convincing to be able to go to another school.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be the hardest part. Is some kids are going to get left out, and they might have left the grass ain't always greener on the other side, you know.
No, it's not.
That's just that risk, I guess. A lot of guys, it's a calculated risk you got to take if you think your career's better off, one place or another. But still, that has changed the whole aspect of college athletics.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. My experience was rather interesting.
But you were kind of like earlier, right before like this big outbreak of.
Yeah, it was just like it was right after COVID. It was I finished my degree. It wasn't like a. I think it gets misused when guys come in freshman year, don't play, don't like it, and then leave.
Yes.
And I think there's a big difference between like I said, an established player and a guy that's just unhappy or feels like he's been mistreated, or feel like he has deserved something else. And it's not only making it more difficult for college programs, but high school athletes are getting the rough end of it too.
Right.
Why would you recruit high school players when you can pick from a different college?
A grad transfer that's played 4 years of college football. I mean, you understand that. And you wonder how many of those guys are truly like wanting to transfer for a better situation, or with NIL, you're wondering, is this guy going to try to get more money, or is he does he actually need to transfer schools to have a better chance of playing or going to the next level? So it's definitely a weird time for college athletics. But it's entertaining though. It's kind of turned into a little free agency, trying to see where guys are going to land.
It's like Tommy White last year. Whew. I mean, he, like I talk about leaving after your freshman year, but he had one of the best freshman years ever.
Right.
So it's like what motivated him to leave.
Yeah.
He played every day. He was ACC freshman of the year, I'm sure.
Almost came in top 10 in home runs and all college baseball.
And then now he's at LSU. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the reality of it too. I mean, guys like that, high talent guys, if they're not, if they see they can go somewhere, and heck, the NIL bills he has, I don't know specifics on it, so I'm not going to speak dollar figures, but I know he has a large NIL contract with I think Marucci.
I'm sure, yeah.
And
he does.
So if if the money figure that I think is what he got, that's life-changing money, really.
Yeah.
Think about it. So
at the end of the day, you really can't fault some guys for leaving. Because, you don't know people's story. You don't know. They're going to do, at the end of the day, people are going to do what's best for themselves.
Yes.
And a lot of times you can't persuade them differently.
Right.
So, if people want to leave, you got to let them leave.
Yeah. And that's one thing, too. Like, even, I know Dabo's been criticized for not going into the portal as much, but he's very firm on his stance about not believing in it.
Yeah.
But I think that's another thing. It's just kind of just the reality of the situation is here.
Right.
It's here to stay. And if that's a tool to use and utilize, you might as well just, bite the bullet.
And I think Dabo's philosophy is kind of like building from the ground up. Mm-hmm. Like establishing a guy for 4 years, like getting his teeth in him as quickly as he can, and being able to kind of just develop him as he wants. And I think picking guys from the transfer portal is not his favorite thing to do just because they come from a different program.
Yeah, I understand.
I did see where he was going after some guy that was a grad from Virginia, receiver.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to this year after the amount of guys that are.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people thought it would get this serious. After the first day and saw how many people left, I would have never believed you if you had told me that before yesterday or whatever day it was. It was crazy. I had never seen anything like that.
I mean, you just refresh your Twitter feed. It's just constant so-and-so's transferring everywhere, every school.
You think it'll only be like that for football, or you think eventually? I mean, it's kind of hard for basketball because you obviously have 13, 15 guys on teams, so you're not going to see that much in basketball.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see it being for baseball. Some guys trying to move up to like Power 5 or trying to get into one of those SEC or high-end ACC schools, or trying to fight to play at the best of the best, and because that's where the money is, especially in our sport. Our sport, there's not really much NIL money being thrown around unless you're at one of the top programs in the country, you're one of the top players. So if you're fighting, trying to get some money, I feel like that's definitely somewhere you would have to transfer to make money, especially in our sport.
Yeah.
I think baseball is just a weird sport for transfer portal, stuff like that, and to begin with, because baseball's such a, I don't want to say like a streaky sport, but it's so, you have so many games, you spend so much time in the fall, and then you just have your summer, whether if you're playing summer ball or whatnot, it's just 365, really.
Right.
So making those decisions is really, that's something I think will hinder the transfer. It was baseball a little bit,
Right.
but with football, I think at some point they might have to put a cap on it to some degree.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be like the NFL. You have a guy for a year or two, and then
And I think there's a guy this transferring to Tennessee that's eligible to play in the game on New Year's.
Wow.
Something's weird with it that he's transferring in and he's eligible to play.
I didn't see that.
That would be awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's Tennessee.
Think about that though.
So, I mean, at that point, it is free agency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, some schools are just going to be the raw end of the deal. If you're like you were saying, a smaller school, you have talent that wants to go be on a bigger stage.
Right.
They're not going to stick around.
No.
I mean, I'm building a school out there. Let's just say like Coastal Carolina, a great football program, up and coming team. If you have a great talent who wants to get seen and go into the NFL, the transfer portal will help them out.
Right.
Get to a school like Clemson, Carolina, wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the brunt of the load's going to be felt. There's a lot of smaller schools, but time will tell. There's only, this is the first real season of it, really.
I feel like it's like the first true season for football at least, where NIL is such a big thing and the transfer is such a big thing. This is the first time it's getting all thrown into one.
Yeah, and that's I think it would have been a little easier for coaches to be able to manage it if it had been one, over the course of 1
It's
2
just
years.
two monsters right now.
It is.
Yes, that's man. Being a head coach right now, I'm sure is very.
It's
stressful to begin with, but now especially, good grief.
Like your best player on your team, he could be the star player of your team, and then if he thinks, oh, I want to go somewhere else, he can pack his bags up and leave, and you lost your best 5-star talent out of high school. It's
And you can't be naive to think that coaches aren't poaching either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Calling and just sending little things about how much they can offer, how much they can NIL you can make. It's dirty.
It is.
100%. And that's where I guess it ties back into it. You have that solid NIL foundation to be able to fund those kind of things. Now, whether or not you're slime ball going behind other coaches' backs trying to get a player or not, but if you have that reserve available for better players in the portal, then odds are you're going to get them.
Yeah, and players are the best recruiters. If you have 20 friends on another team, and they're like, man, I'm making $10,000 a month. I got a brand new car. What are you supposed to say to that?
You can play with your boys and make $10,000 a month. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm interested to see what Primetime's going to do at Colorado.
Oh man, that was awesome.
How about his intro meeting?
Dude came in hot, which is making a statement. I respect it. I think if he was going to come in there one way, it had to be that way, and he's kind of setting the tone from the beginning.
Yes.
And can you blame him? They're
No.
1-11.
Yeah, right. So I think he's going to do a great job there. I think he's going to recruit well. I think he's going to get a a transfer's coming there, and it's going to be exciting. I'm very excited to see what primetime does for Colorado.
I am too.
It'll be interesting.
I think the way he approached it, just went in guns a-blazing, that was awesome. And even to have the success that he had at Jackson State, to be able to go somewhere bigger, I think this might just be another stepping stone for him to get, even higher up, if he does it right.
And he was good for the SWAC too. I mean, he did a lot of things for what they like. One of the main things he's pushed for was names on the back of the uniform.
I remember that interview. He said he'd pay for the whole entire swag.
It's just one of those things where you kind of feel like they should have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that kind of stuff, it goes a long way.
Yeah,
especially so. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see itself. I actually saw a statistic where it said Colorado gave up more points this past season than Georgia has in the last 3.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. But
Kim is actually a big Colorado fan.
Yeah.
She's from
Boulder. I asked her about it the other day.
She's from Boulder.
She seemed pretty excited about
the move. I was going to have to ask her about that. That'd be funny.
All right, so Ryan, you made the decision to come back this year. Mm-hmm. What was like the main motivating factor with that?
I'd say the number one factor of it was not having a chance to play in the postseason. My 3 years here, looking back on it, I thought it would be very embarrassing and kind of a slap in the face if I had left and I came back one day and they said, "Oh, you played baseball at Clemson. You must have had some pretty good teams come behind you." And I'm like, actually, I never played in the postseason. So I thought that was the biggest factor of like knowing how special this year could be. And knowing that we could really make a stride in the right direction in this program, especially with so many older guys coming back and having the experience of the older guys and then having this awesome coaching staff that we brought in.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been a true blast to come to the field every day with those guys. Belly, EB, Six, and then having Coach Pohl, and then keeping Pauly. Was awesome. Shout out to Pauly. He's been great. And then B.O., the guy who runs the show. You can't have Clemson baseball without B.O. So it was awesome. I think we have one of the best staffs in the country, and it was super convincing to come back when I got on the phone with EB and kind of sat down and talked about it. And then having so many different people coming back. Like you guys and Ben and Jackson, and then Nick Clayton and Nick Hoffman, having all those older guys coming back, and figured might as well be like a last ride.
It's got to be one of the oldest teams in college baseball this year.
Oh, by far, it's got to be. I mean, we got Max Starbuck, who's 30.
He's pushing 30. But I mean, yeah, there'll be. I mean, we got 6 fifth years. Mm-hmm. A handful of seniors. I mean, it's just going to be an old group.
Right.
Yeah. Which, a lot of experience, too.
Yeah. Which, I mean, the freshman and sophomore classes will be fine.
Yeah.
They'll hold their own when their time comes. So there's no worry about any of that.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing, like kind of like what you were saying with staff and everything, is obviously I'm excited for this year, but as a fan, I'm more excited for the program, like in the next, 5+ years.
Right.
Once they get instilled and, settled in for sure, So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that experience that we do have this year, I think that's something that's gonna pay dividends in the long run. So
all I'm saying is, last time Clemson baseball brought in a new coach, they won the ACC championship. I'm pretty sure
that is true.
First year. So we got to build on that. Maybe
we got to keep that going.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna stack on that. We're gonna do a little bit better than that.
Yeah. But still, very excited. That's one thing that we've touched on a lot. It's, changes.
Yeah.
In that regard. So, but I think I'm ready for it to be sunny again. After that.
Let's. One of the questions we didn't ask: what's your favorite memory, baseball and outside of baseball?
My favorite memory
so far
in baseball. Had to be sweeping South Carolina last year.
You finished out 2 of them.
Finished out 2 of the games. Sunday was sick. Was definitely a moment that you'll never forget in your life. Record attendance crowd. There for all 9 innings. Kind of blew it open in there at the end, and then being able to go in there and shut it down was definitely one of the coolest moments of my career here. And then off the field, I didn't think it was going to be that cool until I actually got there. Getting my ring was definitely something that was a cool moment in my life. I didn't think I don't have it on obviously, but it's definitely something that you don't really appreciate until you got it, and you can kind of reflect back on your whole entire career, not just as a baseball player, but definitely something that took a lot of hard work and dedication to get. And obviously I haven't graduated yet, but I'm on a pretty good track.
Yeah.
But definitely I feel like the biggest off the field accomplishment I'm gonna have is whenever I walk across the stage in the spring.
Yeah.
But haven't done that yet, so I'd probably go get my ring.
Yeah.
It's an even better feeling when you flip it around.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Get the paper.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's always good memories. But the ring ceremony in itself is always pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Definitely a cool moment.
And y'all, so last year y'all flew to graduate, didn't y'all?
That was
Y'all
awesome.
stayed back.
Yeah.
Flew
Yeah.
to meet us.
We did. Yeah, so that was when we were going to Virginia. Let's see, we graduated Thursday.
What a great ride to miss.
Oh man, yeah, I can imagine. Do you guys get stuck in traffic or something too?
Yeah, there was like an extra hour and a half of just us sitting there.
It was a brutal bus ride.
Let's see, it was me, Jackson, Breyer, and Mac. I think it was just us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was your
Yeah, it
fault.
was us 4, and then you guys were loading up at the field. We were getting ready to go to graduation. As soon as graduation was over, took pictures with the family, rode with Lindsay over to the airport, hopped on a plane, beat y'all there by about an hour.
Yeah, a little 12-seater plane.
Yeah, it was awesome. The pilots were talking to us the whole time. It was sick, and then we get there, and we're an hour early. We get this random Uber guy, takes us to the field, and we're just walking around their facility. Nobody's there.
Right.
And finally, just starts to pour down rain. Their team shows up, and we help them put on the tarp. That was pretty cool.
I didn't know that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, but yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, what other comments, questions do you have?
Thoughts?
While we got you.
Here's my question of concern.
Oh God.
Any conspiracies? We can talk
What
about
took y'all so long to get me on here? It's my first question. Well, I didn't want to be the guy who kept nagging you about it, hey man, get me on the podcast, but I was starting to sit back and be like, are these guys gonna ask me to be on it? I feel like, what went wrong there?
See, it's not a matter of.
I wasn't even the first pick in my room, my apartment.
Well, the thing about it, it's
Jackson was.
You actually the third pick.
But Jackson always
Jackson was on the other end of things though, asking us.
Okay, Jackson was the guy asking.
But it's not about when you get on; it's the fact that you do get on.
That is true. That is true.
We got more episodes to come and more people to have on.
That's right. And when are we getting 7 on the podcast?
It's got to be next week. So he's in Cabo right now. He's in Cabo right now, right?
It might be back. What's today's date?
I think he's coming back the 10th.
Yeah.
He's coming back this week for
Saturday.
exam week.
I mean, he comes in and just tells us he's going to be on the show like a month ago.
Yeah.
And then has just never made time to come in.
Yeah, I guess I would, throw him a bone. It was an hour and some change or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you bring up that you want to be on the podcast, I feel like
you gotta come.
Yeah.
And I asked him, so we showed up at the facility, I don't know what day it was. Was it Christmas? No, it wasn't Christmas party.
Mm-mm.
I don't know what it was. Anyway, I was like, 7, what are you doing tonight? We're filming the show. You want to be on it? And he's like, well, no, I'm busy tonight. We fly out in the morning. And I'm like, well, I mean, I can only ask so many times.
Yeah.
Definitely need to get him on the podcast.
He'll be on, yeah.
The guy's got stories
He's got some
for
stories.
days. The only problem with him being on the podcast might be a 3-hour long podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna
It's fun.
Chop the show up into 3 different
We'll do
parts.
3 parts,
Yeah.
3 different parts.
I mean, that guy's just been there and seen it all.
Yeah. It's been awesome.
We talk about Coco. Maybe we'll bring Coco in.
Yeah.
Talking about our staff, adding him on is, I don't know his exact role, but being there every day, it's been super cool. Growing up as a fan, still remember him on third baseline, like tipping his cap every time he walked down to be third base coach over in my direction. And I was like, I want to meet 7 one day. And now I'm playing here, and he's a part of the program, and it's super cool to see.
Yeah, we can get him to explain what Tesla means.
Tell us the diff.
Tell us what the diff is.
Yeah, man.
He's
Just picking his brain just with some of the stories he has is incredible.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Not that you weren't exciting.
No, it's alright. Yeah, you can't beat him.
I mean, he has a body.
Yeah, but
He's got a ball that I don't. Like, even when he's not here, he's still here.
He's been here every show.
That's right. But yeah, we'll have to work on getting him on here and then coming up with some more guys.
I want to get B.O. on here.
That would be sick. That would be cool. I think he'd be a good one to do. He'd give like a whole different perspective.
A huge, and he's got some stories too.
Oh,
I spent a day with him doing some stuff, and he's got some pretty funny stories too.
I can imagine.
So,
But everybody knows about B.O. is if B.O.'s here, Abby's here.
Abby
will be right here, sitting behind the camera, waiting for Brad to be done.
yeah,
100%. Well,
I think that's it.
I'd have to agree. Nice rainy day. Got to go get some groceries and make some dinner. Figure out what I'm doing. I guess SO Club or Backstreets maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe so is that. Well, as always, just a big thank you to dear old Clemson, the Clemson Insider, and Robert McRae for giving us this opportunity and allowing us to come and just give you guys some content. So thank you guys, and go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.